Morning at NTV, we are live from Kampala's Rena Conference Center. I'm Andrew Chamagiromuntu. It's just a few minutes from 8 o'clock this early morning. If you're watching us from your workstation, we want to thank you. And those watching us from across the borders, we want to appreciate you, especially those in Kenya. Together tunawakilisha, sindio? Aya. So today we're talking about domestic tourism. We're getting closer to a conversation where you and your family members and your friends need to travel. For one, I had my friends, the Yaya Extra crew. We went in the West a few days ago to travel, but it brought a different context now. COVID-19 getting in play, domestic tourism in one or the other picked, you know, some little bit of vibe, but we need to know how do we get it off the ground. Now, to join me this early morning to understand this and more, we have Mrs. Mugabe Claire, or Miss Mugabe Claire, the marketing manager from the Uganda Tourism Board, to bring this to context. Good morning, Claire.
Good morning, how are you?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Well, I traveled around this country, but some things don't seem to add up. As Ugandans in the COVID-19 era, we're not dealing with normalcy. How best can we leverage on domestic tourism?
As Ugandans, I think as a traveler or as an operator, I'll start by talking about the traveler. What we need to take advantage of at the moment is the fact that we have, as the tourism board, we've gone an extra mile to engage all our practitioners and stakeholders in domestic tourism operations to greatly discount the rates for Ugandans to make it more affordable as a means of motivating them to travel around the country.
In shillings.
Yes, actually, we are trying to do that. We've had great engagements with all the different operators, hotel owners, to, you know, many of them had originally targeted the foreigners because that is, you know, the buttered side of their bread. Yes, but, you know, in the face of adversity, when borders closed and we had COVID, they had, you know, to rethink. All of us in the sector had to rethink our strategy. And at the moment, everyone is rethinking their business model to come up with a proper marketing mix targeting the domestic tourism. The first thing that we had to address was the issue of affordability, because it is one of the issues that had been cited from the research that we did domestically.
Yeah, I would love to go to Lekembura, but when they tell you, they send you itinerary and you look at it and you're like, so transport is excluded. And you're like, so how do I get to Lekembura for starters if the itinerary is not covering this up? And in one or the other, we don't know quite a lot as Ugandans. We've not traveled a lot. Yeah. It's very absurd that how much you have to pay to go to Bwindi, it's directly proportional to how much you could pay to go to Dubai.
Not anymore.
So how do we get there? What tools can we use now, us as media, to entice Ugandans to travel?
As the tourism board, the destination marketing organization of the country, the first thing that we've had to do is to make Ugandans fully aware of the different destinations at the exposure for touring, because many of them actually said they have the money to travel, they have the time to actually get out with their friends and family, but they don't know where to go around Uganda.
That's true.
So that is the first part that we've had to demystify, to make sure that the information is out there. Every Ugandan right now at the moment actually has a lot more knowledge.
Every weekend we need to go somewhere.
About the different places to go. Now the next phase is making tourism more affordable, like I said, because, you know, like you said, some facilities are quoting in foreign currency, but, you know, we are trying to change that, and actually many of them have followed suit. They are quoting in local currency. They have really discounted their rates. If you go to Sheraton right here, Serena right here, even outside of Kampala, many of them actually have come up with special rates for Ugandans. And you talked about that part of transportation. I think we don't have a one-size-fits-all offer for domestic tourism. Every time you engage a tour operator, they want to find out what you really want. Some people actually want to use their cars. Some people want to fly to the different destinations. Some people want to use public means. So we customize the itinerary to your needs and wants and to how much, you know, you have. So I think that is maybe you had your car or you had, I don't know, that is where they need to get
I just want to drive. You see, from my context, Claire, if I'm traveling, I don't want to be stressed while I'm driving. I just want to enjoy the scenery, the ambience, everything to the detail, but I have to keep my eyes on the road. So if transportation is included in the itinerary, maybe it serves as a load. If you're going in groups, we need to be aware that COVID-19 is still running. How do I stay within my SOPs, but I still have the fun I'm getting? Then the other side is most travel operators, they were expecting government to come in with some little bit of, some money to jumpstart the industry. Did that money come through?
Yes, actually, there is some funding that we got from the European Union, and people are applying to get the funding.
Applying?
Yes.
So what is the pedigree? How does one access such a facility?
There is a criteria for accessing, so you put in your business plan and access it, the fund, and you pay back in a certain amount of time.
Are you aware of people who are not registered and they're doing a lot in tourism? Like me, I could have like my 30 friends and I tell them, guys, we're going to Lekimburo, According to my guys in that side, they have said this much transport, this much accommodation, and meals and welfare. So we go, and they're operating with no registration and all that. So how do you deal with those?
I think what you just explained is, a Ugandan taking the initiative to book directly with whichever facility that you're going to. That is acceptable, and you're not an operator. You just, you just book directly with the service provider of the place that you're going to. However, we have operators that are the middlemen that do book tours and travel for Ugandans. So those ones have to be registered by the Uganda Tourism Board. There's a certain set criteria that they have to follow in order to get registered. So those ones are in business. But if you're just a traveler and you book directly, maybe from, or you go online and you book a trip to Machizone, you book, directly to a hotel like Pakuba, then you don't have to be registered because you're not an operator in our sector. Okay,
just to bring this to context, you and I are watching this conversation on Twitter. I understand many of you love to travel, the travel junkies and fanatics. We're trying to see how best do we get this off the ground. What needs to change from the perspectives of Ugandans when it gets to travel and tourism? What don't we understand as Ugandans?
I think the first thing that around mindset change is the fact Ugandans thought that travel is for the foreigners. In fact, everyone thought that touring is for a Muzungu. It was like a very, very foreign
when
concept.
Growing up, they used to charge us. We are going to Karicho, the tea farm, and they say each one of you is going to bring, let me say, 20,000 or 50,000. These things no longer happen in schools anymore. People are going to Dubai, they're going to Mombasa to see the trains, yet we have a lot here. So when you talk about mindset, I feel you like so strong.
Yeah, and actually Ugandans, that is the mindset they have, that we have to change. They think it is foreigners that have to come into Uganda, and then for them, they have to travel outside of Uganda. So for every Ugandan to think that I am touring, they thought they have to go to Dubai, to go to Mombasa. So that is something that we are working around, and we are very happy as the tourism board that from that time we started to run aggressive domestic tourism promotion campaigns from around September last year when we were in the lockdown. People have actually responded very positively. So many Ugandans are now traveling around their country. Every weekend you see fully booked facilities all over the country. And we are happy that even after borders opened, so that people are able to travel anywhere in the world, they have continued to embrace domestic tourism, which is very good for us because the whole intent is to make a domestic tourism a lifestyle in Uganda, to make it part and parcel of people's lives. People, every weekend people should be able to travel, go somewhere. You don't have to, and,
to be at home and watch series.
Exactly. And people think they should just be in their beds. Ugandans make a lot of money, but they don't know how to relax and get away. So, and some of them think you need to first maybe go and leave and get a month away. So we are trying to demystify that. We've designed different itineraries, 8-hour itineraries, city tour, travel tours. You can imagine there is a very big percentage of Ugandans in Kampala, living in Waise, living in Ntinda, who have never been anywhere outside of their homes and their workplace.
That's so true.
So we want people to start by traveling around where they stay. If you're in Kampala, take a sightseeing bus over the weekend to see the different things like the Baha'i Temple, the Gaddafi Mosque. People don't even know the stories behind those things. Why is Kampala called Kampala, for example? So when you take that tour bus around Kampala, it helps you to appreciate Kampala for starters. And then when you get more time, maybe over the weekend, you can spread out to further destinations around the country. So that is what we're trying to achieve.
So that is a very exciting call to action to the countrymen. The mindset change, it's something we're going to get. But with all this and vis-a-vis the government agenda, now we're going in the NDP 3, how is tourism positioned that matches the mindset is plugged and people are positive about it? How is the entire industry plugged into the national framework that they're going to achieve the same?
Tourism is actually one of the key sectors stipulated in the NDP3.
Heavily.
Yes, we were the #1 foreign exchange earner before COVID broke in, and we are very certain we are going to get back in that position in the in the face of recovery, because there is a lot of demand for travel. People have been locked up in their countries for over a year now. So now that the vaccine is being rolled out worldwide, even here in Uganda, we are very positive that you're going to see a lot of demand. Actually, it is already coming in.
Oh, yeah.
People from all over the world wanting to know what's new in the Pearl of Africa. What we have is that, the beauty, even in the face of COVID, Uganda remains undoubtedly the most beautiful country in the world. That is very important.
I will say that again. I will say that we are the most beautiful country in the world.
Definitely.
Until you travel out of this country, you won't understand
Exactly. And on top of being a beautiful country, we've done a tremendous job, a wonderful job managing the pandemic. For us, even in the industry, we've gone ahead to develop standard operating protocols around managing COVID, ensuring the safety of the people that come into the country, and even Ugandans that travel around the different destinations. So we have managed to position Uganda as a safe destination post-COVID, and already that communication is going around, so people are actually ready to come to Uganda. We've already seen actually some people coming in from Germany and from some countries that have open borders. So we are very, very positive that, by the close of this year, we are going to see some, some traction around international arrivals.
Do we have packages for children, school-going children, that schools can plug into this? If we could take the approach of the institutions that take our children, that this can be grounded from the grassroots coming up. It's a down-to-up approach of the children that by the time they become adults, they understand this.
Yes, there are packages for children, starting with, the nearest here, going to Awake, the zoo. I think almost every child in Uganda has been around there. But we want to take a more
I was dragged
structured...
there by my wife. I didn't know it was open though.
It is open. It's been open for a very long time. We've actually brought in more animals, so tigers, and also, we are every day we're enhancing the experience around the different places. So we are, like I was saying, around the young people, we are taking a more structured approach to not only designing itineraries, but to making sure that we inculcate, a tourism culture amongst the youngsters, seeing that they comprise about 75% of our generation, of our population. So what you're trying to see is that from when a child is in kindergarten, they are educated about the tourism of their country. They're educated about why Uganda is the Pearl of Africa. So they start to appreciate tourism from a tender age, so that they start to, to fight for the cause of things like, sustainable tourism. They understand why they should, discourage things like poaching, why they should conserve the environment. So we want kids right from a young age to be able to appreciate tourism and its general contribution to Uganda. And also in the future, we are trying to see that we work with the Ministry of Education to see that they incorporate tourism in the curriculum, so that, right from kindergarten all the way to university and the tertiary institutions, people appreciate tourism.
Let's talk about taxes. These hotels and the different destinations where we go to, you've encouraged us, it's such a remarkable thing. Is government considering, turning down on some taxes on these destinations where we're going, like the hotels, the guest houses? There is a day I went to a hotel and I told them I was here just 2 months ago. This can say, well, the taxes are a little bit heavy on us. What is the board doing to make sure that it lobbies from government that we could have, these taxes a little bit less and come down a little bit?
Thank you. That conversation is ongoing. The good thing is that tourism as a sector has very good will amongst our different stakeholders. Even the tax, the URA and other people that, around that taxation. We have very good will. People have understood the contribution of tourism to the economy, to the GDP of the country. So there are discussions to further discount the taxes. Already they are extending concessions to people that want to invest in the sector. So a lot of good things are going to happen to encourage investment in tourism and to encourage overall development and encourage investment in the sector.
These conversations, at what stage are they at?
They're at advanced stages, but of course, in the face of COVID, there was a lot of disruption. But it's ongoing, and we believe that we shall have some good results coming from that.
Okay, well, that is Claire Mugabi from the Uganda Tourism Board. We're discussing domestic tourism, what needs to be done to take it off the ground and beyond. As we're finalizing this conversation, I want you to give a word to Ugandans out there. their role, their call to action about domestic tourism, and the leaders from the local areas, what's their call to action as well, and to the private partners or private sector. That's your camera, go ahead.
The call to Ugandans, for starters, first of all, I want to thank all Ugandans that have heard our call. We are encouraging them to travel the country. We've seen a lot of traffic, Ugandans going to the different destinations. So we want to encourage you. First of all, we want to thank you for that, and we want to encourage you to continue traveling. The other thing I want to talk about is that we have a campaign going on. It is a digital-led campaign, which we've dubbed Take on the Pearl with Love. It's been running from February. It was unveiled on the 14th of February, which was Valentine's Day. So it's running up to the end of March. It's a digital-led campaign, and mainly the mechanics is around you posting your picture of yourself at any destination. Like you said, you were in the West recently with your family. So you just grab one of those pictures, post it on any of our Visit Uganda platforms, on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. When you post your picture and get the highest level of engagement, that is likes, shares and comments, you become our winner of that week. We have taken around 5 categories of winners.
Isn't that unfair? Because if I post all Farid and Akaziwe posts and we have surging numbers, and there is a Ugandan out there who loves, but his group and his followers are around like 200. But with all due honesty, we believe that he has more time than us. Isn't that unfair?
Actually, that is not true. We've had a lot of Uganda, like last weekend, we took around Ugandan women, a group of women, because we're celebrating Women's Day. And you can't believe they came from Nakasero market.
Nice.
And they were telling us the story. They posted their pictures, and then they went around the market, encouraging their friends. To, first of all, some of them even had never been on social media, so they signed them up, got them to, like their pictures, and actually they won.
Nice.
So we are getting a lot of response, especially from people that have not traveled. Now, for you, may not be interested in taking part in the campaign on Nakaswe because you can afford to take yourself there, but we have a lot of Ugandans who are really looking forward to this campaign. So I am encouraging everyone out there that Take on the Pearl with Love campaign is real.
So that's the hashtag.
Yes, that is
Take on the Pearl with love, or the hashtag Visit Uganda.
Yes.
Okay.
So we are taking around 5 groups. We've so far taken 3, so we have 2 remaining.
Okay.
The one going next week is going to Kidepo, and the last one will be going around Easter, which is going to be a family. Okay. So you post a picture of yourself somewhere with your family. Okay. You get the biggest number of engagements online, and you become our winner. And what is even most interesting is that it is a fully paid trip.
Full board.
Even when you're 6 or 10 or whatever. We pick you from your home, even if you're in Masindi and you're taking you to Kidepo, we come to your home in Masindi, pick you up and take you. So I'm urging all Ugandans to take part in this campaign. It is open to every Ugandan, not only in Kampala, from wherever you are, long as you log on to our social media platforms, post that picture of yours at any of our destinations, encourage your friends to like and share your post, and you become a winner.
Thank you so much, Claire. That has been very breathtaking. I love the fact that government is investing in this. Yes, it's a conversation you need to tap into. Take on the Pearl with Love. That's the hashtag. Visit Uganda, and you make sure that you tag UTB, Uganda Tourism Board. You tag the Minister of Tourism, and you make sure that you tag other key, players in the industry. I'll take a break for now. Take on the Pearl with Love. Good morning.